Jack it up.
Is not here? You want to provide an introduction? Please. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, Detective Anthony Halp.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
You'd all please remain standing. Pastor Sam, thank you for being with us this morning. You'll lead us in our invocation.
Morning. Let us pray. Dear gracious Heavenly Father, we are so grateful that you blessed us with another day. With these days, as they come upon us, Lord, there's many tasks and things to do, and we just ask for the guidance as this board and council and such, Lord, those that are going to present, Lord, we just pray that you lift them up to share concisely the information needed. Lord, let us not do it with vain motives, but yet just have the best interest of all involved. Lord, I will certainly want to lift up our officers, these men and women who are working very hard to protect our city. But I pray that you will protect them, watch over them, and keep them. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. All right, we have some presentations to begin the morning. First up is the Sworn Impact Constitutional Policing Training. Chief, is there an introduction for our guest this morning? Or I can do it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
It is our pleasure to have Sworn Impact with us today. They're going to lead our training in constitutional policing. They have been doing so for a few months now. And we hope that this relationship and this training continues for a longer time. So, welcome to Kansas City.
Morning.
Good morning.
I'm Sherry Jo Stoll, and I'm the founder of Sworn Impact Training. We're offering something quite unique in the country, working with Kansas City to develop a customized training program meeting the chief's expectations and really giving officers something that is engaging and new. While a lot of officers around the country are watching videos to learn topics like de-escalation, anti-bias, and anti-racial profiling, we're getting people talking, we're getting them engaged, and these are important and heavy discussions that we're having in training. This is your department's annual in-service, the classroom work portion. I wanted to touch a little bit because we had a meeting ahead of this training with Chief Graves to really talk about her philosophy on what constitutional policing and those topics I just mentioned were all about. And the overarching theme is that she wanted us to understand that there is a philosophy of the legitimacy of policing, and that encompasses two things. That officers are perceived as effective, meaning they are well-trained, they are well-equipped, and this department is well-staffed. You've got it covered. And that they are perceived as fair. Those are the two pillars of the legitimacy of policing. I have to tell you that that was really special for us to hear because Sworn Impact as a company is, every single one of our instructors is hell-bent on improving the perceptions of policing in this country. And I think we can all agree that that is certainly an important endeavor. So I would say that the Chief's mission and our mission is a really perfect match for this training. We have great news for you. This department is doing really good work already. And we see it as a theme. You know, if we compare this department to those across the country, we see great things happening in your Office of Community Engagement and the Office of Community Complaints. It is such a fabulous model. So I just wanted to lead with that whether it's communicating with the public as community groups or communicating on an individual level, your officers are doing a stellar job at that. I want you to do something for me, if you would, commissioners. Everyone, please cross your arms in front of you. Yeah, do the same. There we go. Now switch it up. Change it. Go the other way. Feels a little clunky. You're used to doing things one way. You can uncross your arms. Thanks for participating. Feels a little clunky trying it a different way, but that is what we're asking your officers to do. Try some of these communication tactics, try something a little different, and try it on, see if you like it. So that's what we're asking people to do, is shift their perspective a bit. I brought one of our instructors, Instructor Faith Goodrich, with me today because I really wanted you to get a taste of what this training is like. So I wanted her to do a little session on de-escalation. I will say that she is about to celebrate her 20th year in policing, and I'm really excited for her to reach that milestone. Everyone, this is Instructor Goodrich.
Good morning, all. Like Sherry Jo says, we like to do things just a little bit differently at Sworn Impact. Like she also mentioned 20 years in policing, so I've sat through a lot of trainings. And trainings where we force people to be engaged are always better, right? So like she said, I'm going to give just a little bit of a taste on how we talk about de-escalation. So we know that de-escalation is a cornerstone of policing. When officers are trained in de-escalation, use of force incidents go down. We know this. It's a skill that every officer must master, but I think we've been talking about it and training it wrong. So Commissioner Kenner, I'm going to ask you to open this soda bottle. Go ahead. Okay, don't really. But if you were going to open it, how would you do so? Slowly. And I also saw you put it down. You're going to give it time and distance to calm down, right? So that's what we want to do with de-escalation. We want to give it time and distance. But here's the thing. De-escalation is not a verb. That's how we used to talk about it. The situation was de-escalated. The person was de-escalated. It is not something we do to someone. There has to be a buy-in. It's a back and forth. It's a communication. Often, when a police encounter goes wrong, some of the very first criticisms are, the officer didn't de-escalate. And then they feel like they failed. But we have to take into account that there's lots of factors that we can't control. And sometimes verbal de-escalation is not the safest course. But when it is, de-escalation is something we can offer to someone. It is a noun. We can offer de-escalation to our community, and with that cooperative communication, we can be successful. So that's a little bit of how we talk about things and get people engaged in our classes. Thank you so much for having us. And thank you for not actually opening it. It's always a little dangerous. Some people are brave and they want to start opening it right away.
I really love that we were able to give you a quick demonstration. What I really appreciate about our training staff is that they come from a wide breadth of experience in policing, from tactical units to investigative units. Everyone brings a really interesting perspective, and I think it's great when you're having dialogue to have people from different backgrounds. All right, I wanted to leave you with a quote from one of the books that we really appreciate. Our instructors read a lot, and so this one is from a book called Make It Stick, and it's about making learning concepts stick. Learning is deeper and more durable when it is effortful. So we're not allowing people to just sit in a classroom unless we want them to engage. That book, by the way, is by Peter C. Brown. We want to extend an invitation to see more. Commissioners, if you'd like to attend this training. And then we're back in the fall. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation. Thank you for the investment, ongoing education, particularly with constitutional policing. I will try and make every effort to sit in on part of that. I'm very intrigued by your approach of conversation as a method of learning. Thank you for that, and thank you for being here this morning.
If I could just add a pinch to that. When I put in for this position, I talked about bringing ICAT, which is the integrated communications and tactics of de-escalation. I also talked about constitutional policing. While we put it in different constitutional policing training in different modules, I felt like it wasn't enough. I guess you'd say. And so bringing sworn impact here to intentionally focus on constitutional policing and provide in-person classes that does include breakout sessions, conversations, And like how you said, maybe forced, maybe not forced interaction to KCPD, because I do want to improve on our professionalism, our legitimacy, our fairness, our accountability, and transparency. So I'm really thankful that this has come to fruition. And I believe this was funded by the Police Foundation, this training. So I'm always thankful for their support in helping KCPD be the best that we can be to serve our community.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Not heard from the mayor, so I don't know if he has a designee here today. So he's not. Thank you. Thank you. I do see our prosecutor here with us. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody. President Whitaker. Congratulations. The rest of the board, and of course, Chief and the entire department. Good morning. Stole a little bit of my thunder for this month. Update with the Pledge of Allegiance and honoring property crimes for their exceptional work on helping us get to this point. As mentioned, five of the individuals believed to be involved in hundreds of business burglaries all across the metro area have been charged. The most recent ones was two individuals. One defendant faces 2 counts of second-degree burglary, 4 counts of first-degree burglary, and 4 counts of armed criminal action. The other defendant that we recently charged faces 17 counts of second-degree burglary, 2 counts of first-degree burglary, 2 counts of armed criminal action, and 4 counts of armed criminal action. And again, I must say that this would not have been possible without the robust and ongoing collaboration between the Kansas City Police Department, our office, and a host of other partners that made this a possibility. Of course, it's just a start. We also just filed charges on another individual yesterday believed to be involved in another string of business burglaries. So we are continuing to keep our eye on these issues and make sure that we are collaborating to get good results. I also want to note some statistics just to level set about where we are. Again, I feel the need to say that this is by no means a victory lap or a pat on the back, but this is hard work. And I do believe our community deserves to know where our statistics are at any particular moment. In the Jackson County portion of Kansas City, both homicides and non-fatal shootings are down. Homicides, even after a rough 2 weeks. I mean, this weekend was particularly rough, so I want to thank you all for the work that you all did around the clock. We are still down 8% as it pertains to homicides in the Jackson County, Kansas City. And then we're looking at about 46% down in non-fatal shootings. And given the trajectory of some of our crime in recent years, this is something that definitely deserves to be noted. I also want to mention, before I move on, I'm looking forward to shoot with you tomorrow. I'll be there personally to make sure that we are connecting any dots and seeing how we can apprehend more suspects and file more charges, especially on this increasing influx of recent issues. On July 14th, myself, Captain Johnny Taylor of the Kansas City Police Department, and Molly Mansky of Maddie Road will be giving a presentation to the National District Attorneys Association, that conference that will be held here in Kansas City in July. Kind of a big deal. District attorneys, prosecutors from all over the country are coming to Kansas City, and they asked us to present about our SAVE program to highlight how prosecutors can work better and more collaboratively with their police departments and their social service providers and community more broadly. So we are really looking forward to that. Right when I was walking up here, I got our May statistics. So if I may just give those a quick highlight. In May of 2025, we received 370 cases at the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office and filed 275 of them. 168 continue to be under review. So those are statistics to level set us for today. And with that, I am open for any questions.
Questions? First, thank you for being here every month and providing the update. And in the spirit of transparency, sometimes we share good news. So thank you for sharing the progress that's made. But I know that you're not resting on laurels, and you're going to continue and in the collaboration that you have with this department, continue that good progress. So thank you for that.
Absolutely. Thank you, President Whitaker. See you all next month.
See you next month.
Thank you.
Chief.
Good morning, President.
Morning.
Vice President. Over the weekend, your police department was busy and very present in our city. On Saturday alone, we had a Kansas City Royals game. We had Boulevardia, a KC Current game, and a peaceful protest that involved over 3,500 individuals. I'm thankful for all the support offered to us in handling the day's events, and I'm glad that it wasn't needed. I continue to be deeply appreciated and grateful for the men and women of this police department for always showing up to keep our city safe. Taking their oath to heart. Your police department is constantly, I know you know this, you hear me talking about it, but our police department is constantly planning and preparing for days like Saturday, where there are a lot of activities happening all around our city. We plan, we train, we prepare, and we care about the people in our city, and we take our service to public safety to heart. I do want to say something else about the men and women of our department who are super courageous. On June the 7th, we had three boxers that stepped into the ring for the Guns and Hoses event for the Metropolitan Crime Commission. Each year, regional law enforcement and firefighters train and box each other in the ring, which is fun. And it's all to benefit a good cause, which is safe. The surviving spouse and family endowment fund. So it's helping families of fallen firefighters and police officers who lost their lives in the line of duty. Like I said, KCP had three boxers, Officers Sprinkle, Hall, and Maytrade. And I'm proud of each one of them for having the courage and taking the time to train, and getting in the ring and representing KCPD. Like I said, my comments will be brief today. I know we have a full schedule. So if you have any questions for me.
Any questions of the chief? I think they're checking on your microphone. I could hear you, but I'm not sure. They're working on it. Okay. But thank you for the comments. And we know a lot of planning went last week. And thank you for you and your team and all the efforts to make what was a very full weekend in City, a very safe weekend in Kansas City. Not lost on us at all. Thank you for that. I was at Guns and Hoses with you. That was a fun night. Sporting going on, and would like to see a little bit more wins on the blue side. That's okay.
Blue corner fell a little bit short, but that's
all right. There's always next year.
Holy it did. But
And just a quick shout out, Chief, on the topic of boxing. I was able to watch the recognition of one of our PAL boxers last night, who won Golden Gloves, and I think has another match yet to go. So good things are happening. Appreciate it. All right. We will move on in our agenda. And good morning again. Acting Deputy Chief Kobanoff, thank you for being with us this morning.
Thank you for having me.
Turn it over to you.
Again, I'm Major Martin Kobanoff, Acting Deputy Chief in the Investigations Bureau Office, and I'm happy to be here. The Information Investigations Bureau is located behind tab A in your board book. But before we review this information, the Investigations Bureau has a presentation. Assault Squad, January 2025, Assault Squad was increased to three squads, 3 sergeants, 17 detectives. In response to the increased number of violent crime, fatal incidents. Monthly, we report to the board bullet-to-skin incidents which are investigated by the Assault Squads. Captain Chase Morcheski is here this morning to provide insight into the Assault Squad and their responsibilities.
Good morning, board, executive staff. My name's Captain Chase Morcheski. I am the commander of the Assault Squad, which is in the Violent Crimes Division of the Police Department. Today I'm going to provide just a basic overview of the Assault Unit, what we do on a daily basis, some changes that have occurred within the last 6 months, and also look at some of our stats and where we're going forward. My assault squad consists of 4 different squads. We have the 950 squad, Tom Komorowski. 960 squad, Sergeant not able to be here today. 970 squad, Sergeant Dillingham. These are my assault squad detectives. They handle our day-to-day operations. I am also in charge of the 920 generalist squad. These are my detectives and sergeants that work overnights. They work 24 every night of the year, and they are basically in charge of the city in regard to violent crimes overnight. I also have investigative analysts assigned to me. I know you guys have heard this time and time again, but I'm going to keep saying these investigative analysts assigned to our units are game changers. What they do is they help us out on a daily basis. They solve cases for us. Like I said, I know you've heard it before, but we need them, we love them, and we appreciate them so much. So first, I'm going to talk about our generalist squad. Like I said, these are our overnight detectives. Our generalist squad detectives are responsible for the initial stages of investigations as they occur during overnight hours. Their duties include responding to crime scenes, interviewing victims, witnesses. They work with our prosecutors overnight. They work with our judges overnight, supplying for executing search warrants. Our generalist squad sergeants are responsible for making sure we have a homicide overnight. Operation 100, they're contacting the correct people. So our generalist squad will investigate any violent crime up to a homicide. If a homicide occurs, they call in the homicide squad. For an Operation 100, they'll work with our tactical operations teams to conduct those operations. Cases are handled by the general squad during the overnight hours off to the respective units the following morning. So if we had a domestic violence assault, we have a victim, possibly a suspect, they would go out to the crime scene, interview the victim, interview any witnesses, meet up with the domestic violence unit the following morning, give them all the information, hand off the case to them, and then the domestic violence unit would file the case with the appropriate prosecutor's office. So I have had the opportunity to talk to several different police departments. There's cities, there's larger departments that don't have any investigative elements that work on an overnight basis. I talked to Oklahoma City recently. I even talked to Houston. They don't have overnight detectives. So we are extremely to have this. It aids in the integrity of the case. And it also improves the relationship between investigative units with our patrol units. Some of these other cities said there's a lot of animosity between investigations. And a lot of that is because patrol officers are having to handle crime scenes overnight, having to handle witness interviews when a detective would be the appropriate person to handle that. So we're extremely fortunate, and our overnight guys, they help us out a lot. So our assault unit, we handle a variety of cases. We do handle misdemeanor and municipal level assaults. A lot of these are handled at the patrol level. If we do have a suspect, patrol will go ahead and issue a GOS. But that case still comes to my. They look at approximately about 4,000 reports a year. And even if they have been handled by the patrol officer, they're still reading the report. They're still making sure the crime fits the charge, making sure we don't need to elevate this to a state charge. And this could usually is a fist fight, something without major injuries. What we spend the most of our time on is felony level assaults, non-fatal shootings, cuttings, assaults with serious injuries. Also includes assaults on law enforcement officers. Recently, we had an officer run over by an ATV, which I'm sure everyone knows about. It was highly publicized. Countless hours went into that case by our assault detectives, working hand in hand with our special investigations division, along with our patrol officers to get that case filed. That's just a small example. We hear about a lot. That takes up a lot of time, but we do handle several other areas of investigation. We have been assigned law violations. As you know, Blair's law is basically anyone shooting a firearm within the city limits. This was signed into law August of last year. Since that time, we have filed 26 cases with Jackson County, Clay County, and Clay County. So before our suspects here were usually issued a city ticket for firing a weapon within the city. Now we take the place that individual under an investigative hold. We interrogate them. A lot of times we just because we can do this now, we're getting vital crime data, intelligence that we would never got before. So on top of offender potentially being charged with a felony, we're also getting some intelligence out of it as well. One of our major investigative tools, or what we do a lot is threats of violence. These are threats of violence against a place of organization. So this usually a lot of times it's school shooting threats. But just recently we had a threat on the Pride Parade. Anytime we have these threats against organization, threats against the Pride Parade, we have to take these extremely serious. We drop everything we do. The recent example of the Pride Parade, we sent detectives out to our suspect's house. Officers had to go to three different houses, located the suspect, placed him on investigative hold, and luckily he was charged in custody. He was placed in custody. I believe the Pride Parade was on a Saturday. This happened on a Wednesday. So he was held in custody throughout the weekend and charged with a few different felonies. With terroristic threats, we work hand in hand with our Fusion Center. A lot of times we work with the FBI. You see a lot of these threats come in from overseas. FBI helps us out immensely with that, along with Missouri Information Center, the Missouri State Highway Patrol. So right now we don't have a ton of these, but come August, the start of school, we get inundated with school threats. And like I said, we have to take them extremely seriously. We basically drop everything we do until we know this case has been handled. January 26th of this year, we started the third assault squad. Chief, I'd like to thank you, the entire executive staff. It took work by everyone to make this happen. It wasn't just adding another squad. We had to acquire equipment. We had to move people around. Make sure that we had people to cover these individual spots that we took out of patrol. So thank you guys very much. The goals of the third assault squad. This is for the assault squad in general. Was enhanced unit coverage throughout days and PM shifts. Before we would see that, just when we had two squads, we had one day squad. A lot of times our PM squad, they also had to work the weekends. So we'd only have two or three detectives. It just wasn't enough. By having our third squad, we have an entire squad working, six detectives during PM's hours. We have better customer service with our patrol and our victims. We are able to more crime scenes, handle these crime scenes quicker, talk to more victims. That establishes the connection between our victims and our detectives. It really makes our cases to solve when we have that good relationship. We show up on a scene and don't have to go talk to a detective 2 days later. We show up there. We can bring them back to headquarters, do a formal interview, talk to them at their house. It really does make a big difference. This also allows our detectives more time to work on cases. Like I said before, we had a squad on days and a squad on PMs. The way we work this now is our day squad will handle getting cases assigned to them for 2 weeks. They'll then take a week of follow-up where they have a whole week to do nothing but work on the cases that were assigned to them. And then they go into their PM schedule. After their PM's 2 weeks, they'll have another week of follow-up. This is contributing to great progress in cases being filed with the prosecutor's office. Our last goal was to provide a greater number of quality case files to the respective prosecutor's office. When we did this, we had all these goals. I challenged my detectives and my sergeants to before we close out a case, to look at that case. A lot of times we'll have uncooperative victims with a shooting. Before, we really didn't have enough time to look at those cases. A lot of times they'd get closed out. I've challenged my sergeants to, before we close out these cases, if we have a suspect, let's pursue that case. Even if we don't have a cooperative victim, we can still pursue other charges. And we work hand in hand with the prosecutor's office, and we're seeing a lot of these cases now charged where we might not get a ag assault filed because we don't have a cooperative victim, but we're still filing charges such as unlawful use of weapon, aggravated fleeing, discharging a weapon from a vehicle, cases that would have been pushed aside before we're now bringing charges on. On that note, and Prosecutor Johnson's, we worked great with the respective prosecutor's office. We work with all 3 different counties, the federal prosecutor's office, but our relationship with the Jackson County prosecutor's office that we work with mostly, it couldn't be better. Each assault squad has 2 different prosecutors assigned to their units. They call these prosecutors 24 hours a day. They're extremely helpful. And like I said, we have a great working relationship with them. So since we created the 3rd assault squad, January 26th of this year till June 1st, I compared those numbers from last year. We have filed 57% more cases with the respective prosecutor's office than we had on the year before. I had to run the numbers a couple different times because I couldn't believe it went up that much. But yeah, we have blown it out of the water. So looking at some different numbers, I know you guys get presented these, but I wanted to just share a quick snapshot of what we're doing. So aggravated assaults, this is January 1st to June 1st. This year compared to last, we have a 13% decline. Non-aggravated assaults, a 3% decline. Terroristic threats, we're down 24%. And what's most visible and most impressive is to June 1st, our non-fatal shootings were down 51%. That's huge. And last year we did have a high number of non-fatal shootings, but it's not just an anomaly. On our 4-year average, we're still down 40%. So we are doing good work. Patrol's doing good work. Our entire department's doing good work on bringing these numbers down. So on top of these numbers, one of our own internal goals is create upward mobility. In the last couple months, I hate to see detectives leave, but I've had 2 detectives go to the homicide unit. And I'm most proud of, our unit is about 3% of the department, yet we encompassed 19% of the last sergeant's list. So we did really well. The work these officers and these detectives are doing in the assault unit is, it's getting them ready to become future leaders on this department. So with that, I'll take any questions.
I just have a comment. I must say, as you've described the 4 assault squads and the generalist squad that works overnight, I mean, it really sounds like this is a model of really efficient allocation of resources and strategic application of our assault squad, so I commend you for that. You mentioned, I think you reached out to Oklahoma City that did not have this in place. Do our major departments across the country have something in place, or are we indeed?
Some do and some don't. Like I talked to, Oklahoma City was very jealous that we have this. But I talked to Houston, which is a huge department. They don't have it either. So there are sister cities that do have this. It's just kind of 50-50, but we are extremely fortunate to have it.
I just want to commend you and your officers, your men and women who, not officers, but investigators who are on your team, because it sounds like you're really making an impact. And, you know, I love it when we are a model of operations for other departments, other sister cities. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I would like to, along those lines, thank you for being so thorough in explaining this, because I think that really helps that visual picture of what you guys do. And I appreciate you taking that time to be, you know, extra thorough and helps give us that visual. And really appreciate all those sergeants out there working those nights, because I know that's really tough on you guys, and I know that makes a big difference. So thank you for what you do.
Our sergeants and detectives, it's not for everyone. They deal with a lot of in-custodies. They deal with some tough scenes, but they do a great job.
Yes, and I know it's not easy at night, getting called out, I'm sure, at all hours of the night and investigating these things. So thank you for what you do. Appreciate that.
I have one more quick comment, because you used a term that we don't hear often, but I love that you use the term customer service. I love that you're working with the patrol team, viewing witnesses and victims as entities that need a certain level of attention and care and respect from our department. And I just love that you use that term to understand that all of the different departments, kind of the different units are working together, and it's your role to make that a seamless transition. So I really appreciated using that term. Thank you.
And I'll add, the customer service term is something that Deputy Chief Niemeyer, who unfortunately he's away on daddy duty, but that's something that he stressed with all of his commanders, and that has trickled down from the commanders, from the top down, from, quite frankly, Chief Graves to Deputy Chief Niemeyer, to myself and the different majors, all the way through all the commanders, down to the detectives.
Thank you for that. I mean, it speaks to the leadership, the serving others within our department, the community. So thank you for that.
Welcome. Thank you, Chase.
One quick follow-up. I'm just curious. We've talked a little bit about the Peregrine system. Do your teams, are they able to use that? I know it's relatively new.
So it is relatively new, but excuse me.
Got the mics working.
I will say, the day after the ATV ran over one of our officers, Captain Boffman reached out and provided the entire Peregrine team at our disposal to help with that case. We had 72 tips come in on that case, and we ran multiple people through the Peregrine system, so it's already helping us out.
Well, thank you for your focus. Thank you for your leadership. I know it's tough to lose to other departments, but that's also a sign of leadership and growing talent, and it's better for everyone. And one of the signs of true success, I think, and what we look at on the blue sheet, of course, is our clearance rate, and we've always been above the average and continuing to drive that clearance rate. I know that's a part of attributable to your team's efforts, so thank you for that.
All right, now, thank you, Assault Squad. And we'll take a look at the, like I said, tab A in your board book. There's the information from the Investigations Bureau. Look at the blue sheet. As of today, we have 74 homicides as compared to 68 at this time last year. Reporting the numbers for May of 2025, there were 14 homicide cases with a total of 16 victims. Two of those cases were multiple victims. So of the 14, 2 were multiple victims. Of the 14 cases, 9 have identified suspects. Of the 14 cases, 6 are cleared by arrest, 3 are solved but not cleared, with more work to do, meaning casework or apprehension of the suspect. And we continue to work on the remaining 5 cases and other unsolved homicides. Our non-fatal shooting comparison report, as of June 16, we have 155 non-fatal shooting victims as compared to 281 this time last year, a decrease of 45%. Reporting the numbers for May 2025, there were 30 non-fatal shootings victims as compared to 52 for the month of May 2024, a 42% decrease. And as mentioned by the assault squad in the presentation, the volume of assaults is only matched by the integrity and the gumption that they have as far as solving those cases. So that would, I'm going to say it attributes to some of the decrease. I mean, we do good work. And as far as case updates, the Violent Crimes Division continues to work alongside our respective prosecutors' offices to present in cases for their review. The submission of the case file is not the end of the investigation. It's just one step in a long process to bring justice to those who have been victimized in our community. Property crimes, as talked about earlier, the Property Crimes Unit investigated business burglaries. This has been reported in the news recently with some arrests. Detectives continue to work with the Jackson County Prosecutor's Office in regards to a metro-wide burglary pattern. The investigation continues, and other business burglaries are being investigated. I believe in previous board meetings there was mention of the predatory towing investigation. The Kansas, Missouri Police Department has been aware of numerous complaints related to predatory towing activities. These complaints have been and are being investigated. Tow companies, their employees, and associates are being interviewed, arrests are being made, and charges in respective counties where appropriate are being sought. Numerous search warrants were applied for and granted and served, and hundreds, if not thousands, of pieces of evidence have been collected. As the investigation continues, where appropriate, additional case files will be presented to the respective county prosecutors' offices for their review and consideration of charges. Our Special Investigations Division, they continue to investigate the flow of illegal narcotics within our communities. And as you can see within the board book, there are several 100 pounds of cocaine, mushrooms, methamphetamines, marijuana, and THC products recovered during the month. I would be remiss in not mentioning, we all heard about the Lee Summit officer who was fired upon and shot in Lee Summit. Our Special Investigations Division assisted the Lee Summit Police Department during the investigation of the aggravated assault shooting of one of their officers. Our department has unfortunately experienced this kind of trauma, and we were ready to assist. The suspect in the case was apprehended through efforts of several agencies to include KCPD. The Lee Summit command staff wanted to show their appreciation and did so by providing lunch to our Special Investigations Division. It is as a bureau and as a department that we wish the Lee Summit officer, Jared Timbrook, a speedy recovery. This concludes the Investigations Bureau report, and I will answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for Major Kobana?
I have a quick comment. You can share this with Deputy Chief Niemeyer when he returns, but I thought I saw a 77% clearance rate one day last week. And I thought of him because I know that's very important, that he watches that like a hawk every day. So I think it speaks to the phenomenal work, as has been mentioned earlier, that the team does. So thank you for that.
Yes, I'm pretty certain he's watching right now while he's playing nurse. But there's a 72% clearance rate, and I would be remiss by not saying that clearance rate is not just because of the Kansas, Missouri Police Department. That clearance rate is a result of the Good Samaritans within our community, those who come forward and assist us with the investigations, because without their help, we can't get the work done. So it's the Good Samaritans that are out there who help us be successful.
Thank you for that clarification.
Deputy Chief Maven, good morning.
Good morning. I'll begin my report by highlighting some Patrol Bureau notable events. Then I'll present the median response time report, and I will conclude with a report from the Traffic Division. On May 11th, 2 additional officers were transferred to downtown Footbeat, bringing the total number of members assigned to 6 officers and 1 sergeant. These additional officers have allowed Footbeat to expand its hours of operation from 6 a.m. to 10 p.m. Officers spend their time focusing on quality of life concerns in downtown, Crossroads, and the River Market neighborhoods, and work to be a resource for businesses and residents in the area. One of their initial focuses was the intersection of 11th and Grand, where public drinking, loitering, and disturbances were common. Their efforts are already beginning to show positive results in the area. For the second year in a row, Children's Mercy Hospital's EMS Outreach and Education section celebrated Police Week by responding to Metro Patrol Division. They provided information that will assist officers when responding to calls involving young children and juveniles. They brought snacks, giveaways, and conducted brief training sessions on Stop the Bleed and pediatric Narcan use. Officers enjoyed networking with the Children's Mercy staff and learned important information they can use on a daily basis. The South Patrol Division and KC 360 are preparing to launch a Take Back the Block crime prevention initiative. The program is designed to energize, inspire, and connect residents with resources. South Patrol Community Engagement Division, KC Common Good, faith-based organizations, various city departments, and community volunteers will all focus on a specific neighborhood in South Kansas City for several weeks. Activities will include canvassing the neighborhood to understand the concerns of residents, conducting overall neighborhood needs assessments, conducting community cleanups, and then at the end of the initiative, they'll host a block party to celebrate the work that has been done. Then a new neighborhood will be selected and the process will begin again. There will be more information coming soon on this initiative. The Police Athletic League had a total of 1,444 total visits during the month, with an average of 65 visits each day. PAL also had 32 new enrollments. A PAL athlete finished in first place in the girls' 100-meter and 200-meter races at a local track meet. And then this athlete went on to finish 7th place in the 200-meter finals at the state track meet. The PAL boxing team competed in 2 boxing events during the reporting period, while the PAL baseball team went 4-0. And this month's Girls' Night Out event was a trip to see the movie Lilo and Stitch. The Rapid Deployment Squad had a productive month. They assisted the Special Investigations Division with street-level narcotic sales and prostitution enforcement as a part of a larger initiative. They made numerous state and city-level arrests, both for outstanding warrants and new charges. They also located and arrested 3 suspects who were wanted for committing multiple armed robberies by using Facebook Marketplace to meet up with unsuspecting victims. In total, RDS officers located and arrested 8 aggravated assault suspects, 5 robbery suspects, and 1 homicide suspect. They also recovered 12 firearms and 4 stolen vehicles. It's been a couple months since I discussed the great work our K-9 officers do every day. So here's a few highlights from May. Officer Bartlett and K-9 Rocks assisted the Independence Police Department with the search warrant in regard to a homicide suspect. Officer Karicki and K-9 Scoop assisted the Raytown Police Department with the apprehension of a suspect who had felony destruction of property warrants and felony eluding charges. Officer Davis and K-9 Finn assisted the Jackson County Sheriff's Office with the apprehension of a suspect who had felony warrants for assault and resisting arrest. And Officer Moats and K-9 Pepper conducted an article search and located a firearm. The K-9 section also conducted bomb and narcotic sweeps for the federal courthouse and conducted a demonstration at the City Citizens Police Academy. Moving on to response time reports. The median response time for Priority 1 calls during the month of May was 8 minutes and 28 seconds. This is about a 1-second increase compared to April and an 8-second decrease compared to May 2024. The median response time for Priority 2 calls was 10 minutes and 44 seconds. That's a 5-second increase compared to April and a 17-second decrease compared to May 2024. Traffic Division. There were 1,667 traffic accidents citywide in May of 2025, a 6% decrease compared to last May. There were 6 fatal crashes during the reporting period. 3 of these accidents involved motorcycles, 1 involved a bicyclist, 1 involved a pedestrian, and the remaining fatal accident was an unrestrained driver of a passenger vehicle. From January to the end of May, there were 24 fatal crashes with a total of 26 victims. That's a 41% decrease in the number of fatalities compared to the same period last year. The department issued a total of 4,778 traffic tickets during the reporting period and 24,748 tickets year to date. The number of tickets dropped compared to April, partly because we had a couple of large traffic enforcement operations during that month, and because of an increased number of traffic events and escorts in May. We're still slightly ahead of last year in terms of total tickets written, though. Looking at impaired driving enforcement specifically, the DUI section conducted 7 grant-funded Wolfpack operations in May with a combined total of 96 traffic stops. They issued 83 tickets and made 22 DUI arrests. We had to reduce the number of Wolfpacks compared to the previous 2 months to ensure we have enough grant funding available to continue operations through the end of the fiscal year. And lastly, I want to mention our parking control section. There has been a 38% increase in the number of parking citations issued year-to-date compared to the same time last year. Many of these were written by PCOs during parking-related calls for service, which have increased as well, from about 3,700 year-to-date in 2024 to 6,500 year-to-date in 2025. PCOs have also responded to over 1,700 311 complaints this year. In addition to handling parking issues, the parking control section also assists with traffic control at special events. Our PCOs and supervisors continuously perform at a high level, and I want to make sure we recognize their efforts. That concludes my report. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Maybe just an observation. It looks like our response times are starting to level off, staying below 2024 averages, but we're finding a kind of an equilibrium, if you will, on that response time. Any feedback or anything notable from that?
I'll say that has been a focus this year. Some of the things we mentioned earlier with regard to staffing certain sectors and just emphasizing that with our officers is hopefully starting to pay off. And as we get additional officers on the department, that'll continue to decrease.
That was the thought that I had as we see these larger classes will lead to additional patrol. And over time, that would hopefully then start to come down.
Absolutely.
Any other questions? Great, thank you. Good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you for the opportunity to provide this update. I'll cover 3 areas: workforce development, academy updates, and crime laboratory performance. Before we begin, I'd like to introduce Supervisor Robert Blem to share a brief update on the Wellness Unit, an essential part of our support system for our personnel. Welcome, Rob.
Thank you, sir. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Chief, senior staff. Thank you for having us here today. My name is Robert Blem, and I'm the supervisor of the Employee Wellness Section. With me this morning, I have Wellness Specialist Trombino, one of our chaplains, Chaplain Stam, Master Detective Shirley Williams with peer support, and Carrie Baker, Wellness Specialist in the unit as well. We'd like to provide an overview and brief history of our Wellness Unit. Today, where we were at in 2025 and where we were going in the future. The Employee Wellness Section was established here at KCPD in 2017. As a stand-up, the unit was comprised of a law enforcement captain, a sergeant, and a wellness specialist. The early days of the unit were dedicated to developing resources and vetting them for our members. One of our first major steps was to initiate and execute a program to identify and partner with an employee assistance plan that could take care of KCPD and its members. The project culminated in the successful onboarding of a new EAP provider and the build-out of a network of roughly 70 culturally competent mental health clinicians for our members to utilize. We saw immediate returns with this project as our members' access to services increased significantly while substantially decreasing wait times for those services. In 2020 and 2021, the unit faced many challenges, including an increase in requests for services during the pandemic and period of civil unrest. This was compounded significantly when staffing for the unit was unavoidably reduced from 3 to 1. In the fall of 2022, everything changed. With the leadership of Chief Graves, the Wellness Unit and the Wellness Program at KCPD became front and center. Chief Graves allocated significant resources and placed a high priority on taking care of our members and their families. She directed the hiring of 2 additional wellness specialists and a supervisor. The current staffing of the Wellness Unit consists of 2 full-time wellness specialists, a reserve sergeant, and a supervisor. We are currently in the process of hiring a 3rd wellness specialist that will serve as the coordinator for our peer support team. On any given day, the Employee Wellness Section conducts station visits, ride-alongs, meets with members in the workplace, at their home, or any location that is convenient for the member. These interactions occur on a 24/7 basis. We work actively to stay engaged with all members of the department and provide immediate resources specifically tailored to the member and their current needs. On a monthly basis, the section averages about 150 individual contacts with our members. The Employee Wellness Section also coordinates support services provided by our KCPD chaplains and our peer support team. We are truly blessed to have such competent, caring, and dedicated members serving in those roles. Our chaplains average in excess of 120 hours a month, attending to the spiritual needs of KCPD members, while our peer support team provides extensive support to our members across the organization with an average of 30 member contacts a month. The Employee Wellness Section also coordinates our critical incident debriefing protocol along with our mental health provider. This protocol occurs when members are involved in a critical incident. Some examples of this include officer-involved shootings, mass casualty events, or a difficult call for service such as a child death or failed medical intervention. Our Employee Wellness Section focuses on 5 core tenets of overall wellness. These include physical health, mental health, financial health, social health, and spiritual health. The Wellness Unit is currently working to bring the Wellness Center concept to KCPD. A Wellness Center would centralize all wellness services and positively impact our efforts with retention, recruitment, and morale. Throughout 2023 and 2024, Wellness Section staff began benchmarking our wellness programs against agencies who had well-respected programs. These agencies consisted of Metro Nashville Police, Los Angeles County Sheriff's Office, San Diego Police Department, Las Vegas Metro Police Department, Louisville Metro Police Department, and the Denver Police Department. In March of 2024, the Wellness Section conducted a site visit of Louisville Metro Police Department and their Wellness Center. As you can see, this center is pretty extensive, and within this center, members have access to mental health clinicians, chaplains, peer support, a financial advisor, athletic trainers, injury rehabilitation, fitness classes, decompression rooms, a full gym, meal prep, and storage area. Louisville Metro PD is having great success with their wellness program. They have shifted from traditional thinking and focus on treating their officers and professional staff like Division I athletes. Early indicators have been extremely positive for them. Since opening the center, one key metric or one benefit cited is a 70% reduction in lost time due to injury. They have also seen marked improvement in morale, retention, and recruitment. So why does all this matter? It matters because taking the best possible care of our members, our most important resource, is our duty. When our members are healthy, functioning, and well-resourced, they are better equipped to render world-class police services to the citizens of Kansas City. All of us on the Employee Wellness team are passionate about serving those that serve. For me, this mission is personal. As a young officer many years ago, my partner and I were shot and critically wounded while in the performance of our duties. During that era, not many resources existed to assist with the many challenges an event like that can cause. KCPD has always done its best to care for its members. Standing up a wellness unit 8 years ago is just one of the many examples of KCPD innovation. Going forward, it is my belief that establishing a wellness center for our members is the next logical step. This will allow us to significantly advance our program and offer top-tier resources in support of the selfless men and women of the Kansas City Police Department. And with that, I'd be happy to answer your questions.
I'd like to make a comment. I'd like to say I've worked with many of you on the wellness unit, and it really shows how much you guys care and really appreciate what you're doing and always trying to take it to the next level to offer, services and everything for our officers. And Chief Graves, I really appreciate you being so instrumental in working with this unit and keeping them up to speed and everything you guys do. I know you care and it shows, and just appreciate working with our officers and everything that you have to offer. So thank you guys and ladies.
Thank you for sharing your personal story. That shows vulnerability and leadership, and that is obviously seen throughout your efforts. Thanks for that.
I gotta say, the motivation of this team is something that I gotta keep up with. They've been fantastic. And it's not just, you saw from the pillars, it's not just work-related. It's also helping members with their personal, spiritual, financial help. And of the many hospital visits that I've seen you all at, day and night, and the inclusion of our chaplains program with our wellness was a perfect fit. That was just probably just made within the last 6 to 8 months.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, just having our chaplains teamed up with this team right here has been something. And I can't tell you how busy these guys are. Unfortunately, there's a lot of needs with the population of people that we have and the things that we see. So I just am so grateful for your inspiration, your motivation, and I will do everything I can to get us to have a wellness center. I said it right here. It's recorded, so I'm with you on that, and I will do whatever I can to help you to
Thank you, Chief.
make that a reality.
Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Would you care to share what you're doing to help officers who suffer from PTSD?
So we have a whole suite of mental clinicians or psychological clinicians and mental services. So that can take the form of going to one of our EAP appointments, which officers can get 6 of those confidentially and free. That can also consist of seeing our department clinician. It just kind of depends on how that came into us.
And is the program that the unions putting together in terms of the peer support, is that part of your program as well?
Yes, sir. Last week, peer support was reincorporated back inside the department. We're working right now to hire a coordinator that's going to coordinate that team, but we will work that out through the wellness section and coordinate that team through the wellness section. Yes, yes.
In this fiscal's budget year, we requested funding for an additional full-time position, and that was for our wellness unit. I mean, we asked for other full-time positions and other areas in our communications unit, but that was one that we specifically asked to bring in that peer support. There's still a separation, but it still needs to be coordinated in one place, so there's not a duplication of efforts. There's a coordinated outreach. And to your question about PTSD, you know, I think some of those examples in here, it's of their outreach when we have critical incidents, whether it be the civil unrest in 2020, where not only did they conduct large briefings for all of our members, but also our members' families and our teenagers. Our teenagers were getting hit on social media for being associated with police during that time. That was a tough time for us. Also, the large outreach, I'm just naming big historic events here at KCPD. Obviously, last year, our rally shooting, you know, they really pulled together and just brings back that feeling of one. So that's kind of how they help our members along with some of those critical incidents. And they're there for the follow-up. You know, sometimes you'll have people that show up to the hospital the first day, but they continue to show up for our members, continue to call, continue to check in, and that's what really solidifies the care that we're providing our members.
That's great, because PTSD just seems to be a continual problem that officers around the country suffer from, and we see it in our disability claims, and it's just the more we can deal with that, the better.
So it's very timely that you brought that up, because right now we teach, our department psychologist teaches tactical longevity, but that was before. That was just to our field training officers and to a certain segment of our officers. We are now going to be teaching the before. That's kind of like how to respond to or help our members through critical incidents, like the after effect. We're now incorporating some training for her. It's still called tactical longevity, but it's more on the resilience side. It's before, preparing our members before their interaction or their involvement in a critical incident. So we're working on our officers, preparing our members for resiliency, and then and connections. And when a critical incident will happen, because if you're in law enforcement, you're going to be exposed to some trauma, secondary trauma, officer-involved shootings, hopefully, like, not everyone, obviously, but on the other side of that is that aftercare. So we're looking at the beginning and after. I mean, we're really putting a lot of focus and effort in all of those spaces to prepare people, to make sure that our members are good, that they're whole. Thank you, team. I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Rob and team,
Thank you, sir.
for all the incredible work that you guys do on a daily basis. Now let's continue with the staffing update. As of May 31st, our department had 1,107 law enforcement officers, 523 professional staff members, 12 laterals in the hiring process, 16 candidates pending job offers for the 186 academy class, which begins August 18th. Our communications unit continues to grow with 84 candidates in the hiring process and 2 pending job offers.
Okay, I gotta jump in, I'm sorry. On that last side, I'm sure are you gonna talk about the academy recruits, how many got in the academy?
Yes.
Okay, I just wanna jump in, I'm sorry, so sorry. We have 1,107 police officers, but we have
77.
77 in the police academy. So these are numbers that I haven't seen since I've taken the seats, that I haven't seen since 2020. I can't tell you how good it feels to be able to tell our officers that help is on the way.
Well, the big
you,
story
boss.
there is not just the increase in classes, but maintaining our attrition level. So we're gaining on our staffing. That's the takeaway from that, I believe.
Correct, and that we have 7 call takers in training as of, 2-3 weeks ago? Yeah, so we're continuing to build those numbers up as well.
Thank you, boss. Our recruitment pipeline remains strong. Our summer internship began June 9th with 20 interns, and they're here with us today. If you would, please stand up. Thank you for being here. The fall internship begins September 2nd, with 4 interns already enrolled. We are currently taking applications. Our recruitment team is also actively engaged in several upcoming recruitment events and law enforcement testing dates highlighted on the screen. On June 12th, just last week, 42 candidates passed a physical agility test. These candidates are now moving on to the next stage of the hiring process. Now let's move on to the academy training highlights. Our Spanish Citizens Academy is on the way with 25 to 30 participants. This 4-week program fosters communication and trust with the Hispanic community. Special thanks to Officer Villalobos, Jonathan Hall, Lisa, all members of our Community Engagement Division under Major Dan Haley and under Deputy Chief Maven. Thank you so much. Also, John Fierro with Matty Road Center and the Northeast Public Library for their support. Our academy staff is currently training 99 entrant officers, including 77 for KCPD. I commend the team for their dedication and professionalism in managing both instruction and operations. Lastly, crime lab performance. Just in May, the crime laboratory processed over 3,600 items of evidence, a critical milestone in improving case resolutions. In 2025, the lab also hosted 33 tours and recruitment events, engaging over 700 participants. This is a key effort in promoting transparency and inspiring interest in forensic science careers. In closing, the Administration Bureau continues to move forward with purpose. Our priorities remain clear: building a stronger workforce, expanding community partnerships, and prioritizing our members' well-being. Thank you for your ongoing support in advancing our recruitment and engagement efforts. That concludes my presentation.
Questions, comments? Thanks for the progress.
Thanks, sir.
Deputy Chief McCollum.
Morning, Commissioners. All items for the Executive Services Bureau are located under Tab D of your board book. Item A, budget transfers for fiscal year 2025-26. I request transferring the following appropriations within the Police Grants Fund. The Police Grants Fund transfer moves $51,900 from contractual services and $30,000 from commodities, totaling $81,900 to personal services. These transfers adjust appropriations to where they are needed now compared to when they were estimated in the fall of 2024 as the budget was being put together. Unless you have any questions, I do recommend approval.
I move approval.
Second.
Moved in second. Any discussion on the motion? None. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes.
Item B, adjustment to special revenue accounts for fiscal year 2025-26. The department anticipates receiving donations from the Police Foundation of Kansas City to fund a variety of programs. These projects include the purchase of automated license plate reader cameras as part of Chief Graves's crime reduction plan and tactical longevity training for our members. Therefore, it is requested that $800,000 be appropriated from the unappropriated fund balance of the Special Services Fund to fund these programs. Unless you have any questions, I recommend approval.
So moved.
Seconded?
Moved in second. Any discussion on the motion? If none, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes. Thanks.
Item C, bid number 2024-13, Glock G45 handgun. On December 17, 2024, the board awarded a one-year contract to GT Distributors to provide the Glock G45 handgun to the department for use as KCPD's primary duty weapon. The department is in the process of transitioning from the .40 caliber handgun to the 9mm. Along with the upcoming academy classes and the need for many current members to convert, additional sidearms are required. Unless you have any questions, I recommend approval to purchase 350 Glock G45 9mm handguns from the department authorized distributor, GT Distributors, at an approximate cost of $292,628.
I move approval.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? If not, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Thank you.
Item D, 2025 Midwest High Intensity Drug Trafficking Area Agreement. The department recently received notification of the fiscal year 2025 Midwest HIDA Task Force Award of $1,105,945 for the period beginning January 1st, 2025 and ending December 31st, 2026. This program provides funding to improve the effectiveness and efficiency of collecting evidence for narcotics and gang investigations. This is the 28th year and is 100% federally funded. Unless you have any questions, I recommend accepting this award.
So moved.
Any discussion on the motion? If not, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Item E, Automated License Plate Reader Project. The department recently initiated an automated license plate reader project to align with Chief Graves's strategic crime plan. These strategically placed devices are designed to help reduce and prevent crime within Kansas City by addressing potential coverage gaps and strengthening monitoring capabilities. The cost of this project is $646,351.47 and is 100% funded by the Police Foundation of Kansas City. Unless you have any questions, I recommend approval.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? If not, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion passes.
If you have any questions, this concludes my portion.
No questions. Thank you.
Very much. Thank you.
Chief Young.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Today we have for your approval the response to community complaints policy. It was initiated as a 5-year review. Most of the changes are simple updates. There are a few more significant changes to make sure we're in compliance with the Police Officer Bill of Rights. And if there are no questions, I recommend approval.
Second.
Seconded. Any discussion on that motion? If not, those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed. Motion passes. Thank
That's
you.
all I have. Thank you.
Office of General Counsel, Mr. Weiner, good morning.
Good morning. Commissioners, I have one action item for you, and it's under tab F in your board book. Anthony T. Kern-McGee has appealed the private officer licensing unit's denial of his application for an unarmed private security license. Kerr was charged in Independence Municipal Court with assault on a law enforcement officer and subsequently pled guilty to disorderly conduct. In his application for a private officer license, Kerr-McGee claimed the case had been dismissed when he had been found guilty on a different charge. Kerr's actions violated the applicable regulations, including 17 CSR 10-2.0503 G and N, and the private officer licensing unit recommends denying Kerr-McGee's appeal.
I move to accept your denial.
Second. Any discussion on that motion? If not, those in favor to accept the recommendation to deny the license. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
And those opposed. Motion passes. Anything else?
That's all. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Dr. Bennikin, anything for us today? Great. Thank you. Down to public comments.
Ron Hunt.
Morning, Mr. President.
Morning.
The beautiful members of the board and our beautiful chief right there. For the last 2 weeks, I've seen the interaction of our police officer with our young people. And I'm very, very just impressed. I'm really impressed when I see that down at Arts Tech, they had a career day. Chief popped down there, but I saw so many of the officers. When I see the officer, Tom, works with the kids in TNT, Teens in Transition, Madeline, Kramer, it really, really makes me feel like our future's gonna be okay, Madeline. Our future's gonna be okay with the police department. When I see those interns out there, when I see that when young people are interested in being part of the police department, I feel a lot better, Ms. Kramer, at night, when I go to sleep at night, because every night I really pray for you guys. It is so dangerous out there. If you look at our bloody weekend that we had this weekend, and I called a city council person last night, and I said, hey, we got to do some things. Ain't no more kicking the can down the road. We got to really, really stop this Phyllis Nation from operating. BP is what I'm talking about. So there are some things that that's in the works, but I do want to show my appreciation, continued support for the police department. You guys have a hard job. A lot of you want to go home at night. Because I know maybe when I'm in the streets and I'm with my daughter, certain parts of the city I just don't go into. 35th and Prospect is one of them. I don't know why why it's such a hard time cleaning that area up. Getting rid of all of the thugs, put them in jail, just a mass. And I know Trump is not a favorable. I'm not a Trump guy myself, but I like the National Guard. I like some of the things that are implemented when it comes to getting rid of the bad people. We just got, it's uncomfortable. You say, oh, there are other, Hispanic, black people. You got to get rid of the bad actors. And on 35th and Prospect, and maybe if you can give me, for the last 5 years, how many lives we lost on 35th and Prospect. People just don't have to live like that. And so I don't want to be rambling, but I want you to know that I really appreciate this department. It's getting better. It's getting better, and I really appreciate the employment section. All you guys and women, men and women, you're doing a great job. But there's a certain part of the city we're neglecting. South Kansas City, that's fine. 35th and Prospect from 27th needs to be the focus. I don't live around there, but I drive through there, and there are other people living there. Thank you, Tom. I didn't mean to run off. Thank you.
No, that's it.
Need to approve our minutes from our last meeting, May 27th. Is there a motion to approve or to amend the minutes?
I'll move to approve.
Second it?
Second. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed. Comments? We'll start with you, Mr. Kenner.
Thank you. I just want to comment that I walked through the event on Saturday afternoon down the plaza, Mill Creek Park. It was remarkable how peaceful everybody was. I think the officers who were around did a remarkable job. Everybody seemed happy, and there were no problems at all that I saw. Thank you for helping out.
Here with us this morning, Commissioner Kramer.
Well, and I'd like to, along those lines, I'd like to thank you too, and I'd like to thank you, Chief, for being very transparent with us on what was happening, how we were handling everything, having enough people there and making sure everything stayed safe. And sorry you had to cut your time short because she was on a trip. She came back just to make sure that our city was safe. So thank you for that. Appreciate that. Thank all of you guys for keeping us safe.
Commissioner Boswell.
Thank you, Commissioner Whitaker. I'll stay on the same topic. It's interesting because obviously when things go well, there's not credit given, and people don't necessarily. And things went well with the protests and all the activities in Kansas City over the weekend, and people don't see the thoughtful and detailed planning that went into making that a safe event. And thank goodness that you didn't have to be called to action, but Chief and your team, congratulations on the hard work and the outcome. Second, I might mention it was interesting because one of the public comments last month was on the property crimes, particularly in the Waldo neighborhood, and I guess whether it shows that hard work pays off over time, that within that same month that you arrested 5 perpetrators, and the teamwork with Prosecutor Johnson's office to get charges filed was outstanding. So congratulations on both fronts.
Commissioner Romius.
Thank you, President Whitaker. So I just want to commend you all on the quality of these meetings. For those who are watching online, I'd encourage more people to do so. I particularly learned a lot from the presentation on the assault squad and the wellness unit. I think it provides a lot of value when you provide that in-depth focus on various units within the department. So I'd just like to commend you on how you all coordinate these meetings and present your information. They're valuable not just to us, but I'm really hopeful, and I'm remiss in how can I. Let me go back here one moment here. Let me go back to sworn impact and the constitutional policing classes. That was a great presentation. So I just want to commend you on how you present the information. It's not just great for us, but I would hope that more members of the public who can watch these online if they can't attend in person.
I have 2 matters. We talked a lot today. First matter, we talked a lot about relationships and the collaboration with the prosecutor's office, the collaboration with our community leaders, and other relationships. But as I look at the initiatives we've discussed today, the training for constitutional policing, the additional analysts, the equipment, the ALPRs we just approved, I also want to recognize our relationship with the Police Foundation and the support that they provide. So thank you to our friends at the Police Foundation. And then my second comment is just a note for the record, it's 10:56. This may be one of the fastest meetings we've had, just not setting a standard here, but making note of that.
Yeah. And along your lines, I would like to thank, I noticed Brad Lemon's here today, and he's been working with us to make things happen too. We appreciate everything you do with the FOP. So, and thanks for being here.
Thanks. Any other business we need to bring up? If none, I'd accept the motion to go into close.
So moved.
Second.
And that's a roll call vote, please.
Boswell, aye.
Whitaker, aye.
Romeus, aye.
Kramer, aye.
Thank you. We're in closed.